Every second you spend wondering what investors want to see in your launch plan is a second wasted swimming in noise, distractions, and empty advice that only leaves you more confused and more alone. Those endless templates, buzzwords, and cookie cutter strategies, they don't cut it. Not when your future, your dream, your chance to change everything hangs in the balance. Investors don't want flashy slides or fancy jargon, they want the truth. They want to see through all the illusions, the polished facades, to what really matters. And here's the brutal truth nobody tells you straight. They want to see you, burning with the fire that refuses to die. A launch plan that's not just a step by step, but a war cry. A raw, undeniable promise that your idea will break through the noise, survive the chaos, and conquer the impossible. Enough with the comforting lies sold as best practices. Let's cut to the marrow. Investors want conviction. They want radical clarity on how you'll not just enter the market, but shake it to its core. If your plan is safe, safe is what it will stay. Safe ideas sink. Radical ideas rise, but they only rise if they're backed by a launch plan that screams, "This will work," because it has to. You see, investors don't bet on ideas. They bet on certainty amid uncertainty. They want to feel that your plan is a bulletproof vault built on data, intuition, and relentless insight into your audience's deepest wounds. No fluffy personas, no vague goals. The raw nerve, the aching problem your product hits like a sledgehammer. That's what sparks the fire. And here's where most founders lose the game. They think launch plans are about marketing fluff or checking boxes like social media campaign or PR blitz. They forget that the launch plan is a story, a visceral narrative about the future you want to create and the battlefield you're stepping into. Investors want to see your battlefield map. Where do you fight? Who are your enemies? What weapons do you have? How do you move your troops? Without this, you're just another hopeful with a dream, swimming in a sea of thousands, forgotten before they even start. So how do you fix this? How do you unleash a launch plan that makes investors lean in, eyes wide, hearts on fire? First, start with problems, not solutions. Investors want to see a market screaming for what you're building. You need numbers that burn, stats that don't lie, testimonials that cut deep. Show them not just what you're selling, but why waking up without your product hurts, physically hurts, your future customers. Bring that pain front and center. Pain that's raw, personal, impossible to ignore. Next, break down your market not like a spreadsheet, but like a gut feeling, a pulse. They don't want a big, boring mass. They want a corner of the world so tight, so desperate, that your solution feels like the only light in their dark. Nail down your early adopters like you're naming the few riders who'll carry your flag through the storm. Show investors you know your rebels, your edge cases, and why they breathe your air. The rest will follow if these few light the fire. Then comes your advantage. Forget generic uniqueness lines. Show them power. Your launch plan must map out how you'll slice through noise with precision, and what forces, team, tech, culture, partnerships, you harness that others overlook. This is the secret sauce you guard, the anomaly in a sea of sameness. Investors want to see your unfair edge, the thing that makes your pitch not just believable but almost inevitable. But the real magic, the part that separates legends from the crowd, is how your launch plan talks about momentum. Investors want to see a plan that moves, that evolves, that never stops surprising. It's not just weekly launches or social posts. They want your rhythm, your pulse, a feedback loop working live, turning every insight into better, smarter moves. Show them your plan for learning fast, failing fast, but never stopping. That you own the game sense that says, we're not just here today, we're here next year, the year after, the decade after. Because investors live on that glimpse of immortality when they see a founder who refuses to quit, who turns setbacks into rocket fuel. And listen, this is not for the comfy or the cautious. It's for the ones who burn from the inside out, the rebels who can't settle for normal because they know it's a cage. Your launch plan has to breathe your refusal to fit in. It has to scream that you're rewriting every rule on the fly. Investors want to bet on that grit, that refusal to fade, that ability to stare down chaos and say, bring it. One more thing, don't give them dreams alone. Give them proof. Layer your plan with concrete milestones that hit like stepping stones across a raging river. Every metric a pulse check, every goal a declaration that you see clearly, and you're ready to execute with ruthless focus. No fluffy aspirations. Hard, sharp, undeniable signs that you're climbing while everyone else is slipping. And here's the twist almost nobody talks about. Investors crave alignment. Beyond money. They want a shared vision that burns equally in their veins and yours. They want to feel your mission like it's theirs. Your launch plan is a contract of passion. They want to see how their investment becomes a co-creation, a movement, a revolution. If you fail to make that pulse connect, that fire risks skipping a beat, you've already lost the war for their trust. This is your chance to rewrite the rules of launching, to tear away every outdated piece of advice that weighs you down, to craft a plan so striking, so raw, so undeniably clear that investors have no choice but to lean in, to join your fight. It's not about perfect decks or buzzwords. It's about relentless truth. About owning what you build and why it matters like your life depends on it. Because for your idea, it does. This moment, this plan you craft, can open doors or slam them shut. It can be the bridge between being just another voice or the spark that ignites the future. And here's the unspoken secret. Your launch plan must be more than a document. It's a pulse, a weapon, a rallying cry for the rare few ready to see the world through your eyes and say, yes, this means everything. Stand with that fire. Build that plan like your future depends on it, because it does. Don't settle for noise. Don't settle for comfort. Investors want to feel the edge of your ambition trembling through every line. They want to see the recklessness and the precision, the pain and the promise, the chaos and the control. They want your fire, raw and unfiltered, because that's what real investors bet on. Not ideas, not trends, but relentless, burning human will that refuses to settle for less. So make your launch plan a mirror, one that shows the future so clearly even the darkest doubts are blinded by your light. That's what investors really want. That's what they deserve. And that's the kind of plan that wins.